easily annoyed? Are anger and frustration draining your energy? Are you hanging on to the past? Would it surprise you to learn that these everyday irritations are clues to your biggest problems? Welcome to What's Bugging You? Let's Fix It with EFT with your host, Helen McConnell. Helen is a certified EFT practitioner who has helped more than 1,000 people tap away what was bugging them, resulting in weight loss, higher income, stronger relationships, freedom from pain, reduced stress, and more. Join Helen McConnell as she uses the personal, portable, permanent power of EFT tapping to help her guests fix what's bugging them.
Hey everybody, do you avoid looking at your bank balance? Are you afraid to know your net worth or your credit score? Are your finances a big secret even to yourself? In this episode of What's Bugging You, Let's Fix It with Tapping, I'm going to guide you to tap away the shame, fear, guilt, despair, and even panic around our finances. This is a special series of 5 episodes called Helping You Get Your Financial Shit Together. I'm Helen McConnell, your host. If you feel shame, fear, and anxiety about your financial situation, in fact, this is a very common phenomenon. I used to think I was the only person who was afraid to look at my financial facts. I thought I was the only small business owner who was eking by. But as I began to do this clearing work and began to face my finances, I discovered many people in this situation, and I knew that tapping could help. Welcome to part 2 in a 5-part series called Helping You Get Your Financial Shit Together. This episode is sponsored by Sacred Money Studios in Multnomah Village. To be sure you get all the episodes, you can subscribe to my podcast or go to my YouTube channel, it's Helen McConnell, where I'm posting a video version of this series. And if you like what you hear here and want to learn more, sign up for my free webinar, Helping You Get Your Financial Shit Together. There's a link to register in the episode notes and on my website, helenmcconnell.com. I want you to know, whatever your financial situation, you're not alone. And whatever your money issue, there is a solution. I am not a financial advisor or expert. I'm an emotions expert. And there's almost no more emotional topic than money. Whether you have too little, too much, or you don't know how much you have, it's time to face the facts and the emotions. Right now, just start tapping on your karate chop point, that spot on the side of your hand, that soft, fleshy side. You can tap right hand to left, left hand to right. Just tap there whenever you feel uncomfortable so that you can begin to change your reaction to uncomfortable feelings. It's okay to have uncomfortable feelings, but we want to learn how to not react to them, but rather respond. This simple act of tapping on the side of your hand will begin to lower the stress hormone cortisol right away. You may or may not notice a difference, but keep tapping. And as we tap around the other 8 tapping points, you'll likely begin to feel energetic shifts in your body. You may yawn, you may breathe more deeply, or any of a number of releases. You see, when we're stressed, we simply can't be our most creative selves. Stress lowers our immune response and increases the body's production of hormones, insulin, and other chemicals. When we're chronically stressed, as most people are, diseases of all kinds are likely to show up. Hiding from your financial facts may give you temporary relief, but secrets of any kind are damaging to your health and well-being, and the emotions that go along with hiding can be devastating. Plus, it takes a lot of energy to hide. In episode number 1 of this series, we tapped on a variety of emotions that often show up when we're thinking about facing our deepest financial fears. You can go back and listen to that. And then I asked listeners to create a personal financial net worth statement. This is a simple form that includes all of your tangible assets and their fair market value, and all of your liabilities or debts. Your financial net worth is the total of your assets minus the total of your liabilities. The number might be a positive or negative. I want to reassure you that you no longer need to feel shame about whatever the number is. So get out your net worth statement now. Congratulations to you for completing it. And if you haven't completed it, know that it should take an hour or 2 to complete it if you have access to a computer and Wi-Fi. Take time to do that now. If you feel like you just want to skip that part, ask yourself why. Otherwise, I encourage you to tap until you can stop this audio and go create your personal financial net worth statement. There are undoubtedly some emotions happening for you right now. For the purpose of this episode, I'm going to assume you've completed your net worth statement. But even if you haven't, tap along. As you look at your net worth numbers, notice how you feel. Look at your total net worth number. Make sure it has a dollar sign by it. Is it a positive number or a negative number? And how do you feel when you look at that number, when you consider that number? Start tapping again. Make sure you're tapping. It is said that our net worth is a reflection of our own self-worth. That is someone's opinion. It doesn't need to be your opinion. But it's kind of a good place to begin to ask these questions. Over the years, have you valued yourself enough to ask for a raise or to charge what you're worth? Or have you settled? Have you charged less? Have you valued yourself enough to do the best job you could do at any job or business you've ever had? Or have you just shown up? Have you worked your butt off your whole life and have little to show for it? Or perhaps you have tons of money and feel you haven't done anything to deserve it except being born. Money, energy. Exchanging money is an energy exchange. You are a divine child of the universe, or God, and when you align with that, your money situation will begin to align with that too. Is everyone meant to be rich in money? I can't say, but everyone innately deserves abundance. If you don't feel you deserve abundance, there is a limiting belief in your system. Now let's tap. You tap along with me, repeating after me what I say, starting on the karate chop. Even though I feel an anxious feeling in my gut, when I look at my net worth number, I love and accept myself. Even though I feel shame and regret as I look at my net worth number, I love and accept myself. Even though I feel a sinking feeling as I look at my net worth number, I love and accept myself, and I choose to know that knowing the truth is the only way to begin to heal this. Now we're going to tap around the points, starting at the top of the head. Repeat after me. My net worth number. On the eyebrow. It's not what I thought it would be. Side of the eye. I never really thought about it in such a clear, concise way. Under the eye. This number. Under the nose. It's just numbers on a paper. On the chin with dollar signs. Collarbone. These numbers can't hurt me. Under the arm, and I can begin to heal my net worth now. Top of the head, my net worth number. On the eyebrow, it may be a reflection of my own self-value. Side of the eye, it may be a reflection of how I feel about money. Under the eye, I can change how I value myself. Under the nose, I can change how I feel about money. On the chin, so that my net worth number is more in alignment with who I really am. Collarbone, I am valued. Under the arm, I am valuable. Take a nice, deep, gentle breath. And notice if you're yawning, even just tapping that with you, I'm yawning. Don't worry, we'll do some more tapping, and you can also create your own tapping if your emotions and thoughts are way different than what we just tapped on. Go ahead and create your own tapping. So, why is this net worth number important? Well, we do live in reality, and taking an inventory is always a good idea. And this is essentially your financial inventory. If we don't know where we're starting, how can we get where we want to go? If you were going on a long road trip and you wanted to map out your journey or use GPS, you'd need to start at your starting point. Sure, there will be side trips along the way and unexpected detours, but knowing where you are is super helpful. If you wander aimlessly, you may still have some amazing adventures, and you may still kind of get where you're going, and that's okay. I'm not here to tell you what to do or where to go or what to want. But when you're ready to take charge of your life and give some boundaries to your money, your net worth statement is a great place to begin. All right, take another deep breath. Let's look a little more closely at your net worth statement. Look at your total assets number. This represents the current value of your tangible assets, or how much cash you might have if you sold and cashed in everything you own. How do you feel, and what thoughts do you have as you look at your total assets number? Do you feel relief, shame, maybe guilt, or inspiration, desperation? Whatever you feel right now, get clear on it. This is a good time to take out your journal and start writing just the words. Notice where in your body you feel those feelings. And then rate the intensity of your emotions using the scale of 0 to 10. Take a moment to pause the recording and write those feelings and bodily sensations and intensities, and then come back. So let's tap on those feelings, starting at the karate chop. Repeat after me. Even though I have these feelings, when I look at my total assets number, I love and accept myself. Even though these feelings feel negative, I love and accept myself. Even though I feel these negative feelings when I look at my total assets number, I love and accept myself. And I choose to sit with the feelings as I tap so I can move forward. Tapping around the points, top of the head, these feelings, eyebrow, these negative feelings, side of the eye. When I look at my total assets number, under the eye, these feelings are habitual sensations. Under the nose, and I've created habitual responses to them. On the chin. But I'm changing all that now. On the collarbone, I'm sitting with my feelings. Under the arm, and noticing as they change. Top of the head, I'm choosing not to react right now. Eyebrow, just to tap and to notice. Side of the eye, these are just sensations in my body. Under the eye, and they will pass. Under the nose, and as I tap and feel these feelings, on the chin, their meaning will begin to change. collarbone. I don't need to run away from my finances. Under the arm. I'm choosing to begin to take charge. Now, just take a nice gentle breath in and out and notice any changes in your sensations and the intensity that you wrote down. Rewind and do this tapping again if needed, 2 or 3 times if necessary. You just want to get the intensity of your emotions down to a level where you can move on and think and be creative, usually down to a 2 or a 3 or lower. I encourage you to write these things down so that you can notice the changes, but it's not a requirement for emotional freedom to write things down. And now notice what your mind was telling you as you were feeling those feelings. Was it chastising you, punishing you, telling you to run away? Is it telling you there's no hope? Or is it telling you how amazing you are and that you'll begin to move forward in a new way? Most people don't get those kinds of messages. As you lower the intensity of the sensations, it is usually a bit easier to hear those internal messages that maybe you weren't noticing before because you were reacting to the feelings, running away, hiding, going and doing something else. None of these things will kill you. So notice what your mind is telling you and know that you can choose to give into it or you can choose to change the message. And that's another reason to sit still and hear the message so that you can take charge and change those messages. Most of those voices in our head were programmed at a very early age by parents, family members, and teachers. And most of them are negative and untrue and not at all helpful. And I always state here, I'm not blaming anybody. It's just time for us to take charge and change those messages. At some point early on, we took over our own negative programming. Yes, we are all brainwashed to a degree. Have you ever heard someone defending their limitations? That is proof that we take over this programming and own it. But we can interrupt this old patterned thinking at any time and begin to change it. And tapping is the most powerful and easy way I know to change those thought patterns. So if you want to change anything about your life, and this is crucial, you've got to change your thinking about that thing. And observing your thinking about your total assets number is a great place to start to change it. We're going to take a short break here. We'll be right back with some more great tapping.
Hey listeners, do you live in or near Portland? Or have you ever wanted to visit? There's an amazing 2-day event coming up that I think you'll want to plan for. The Mindful Wealth Conference is happening on September 14th and 15th. Presented by Sacred Money Studios, this event is about choosing financial wellness, healing old stories, and becoming grounded in your dreams. It will be a deep dive into practices and experiences about money. Some of the most innovative, creative, and courageous experts in finance will be presenting about meditation, yoga, healing financial trauma, claiming your dreams, practical money skills, and falling in love with what you're capable of. I'm honored to be a presenter at this event. The Mindful Wealth Conference is all about learning and experiencing. Come spend 2 days with us, and if you're visiting, spend a few more days discovering Portland. Please go to mindfulwealthconference.com for more information and to register.
So if you want to change anything about your life, and this is crucial, you've got to change your thinking about that thing. And observing your thinking about your total liabilities number is a great place to start to change it. Check in with yourself and see if you're ready to take a closer look at your total liabilities number. If not, use this short tapping to help remove your resistance to looking at your total liabilities number. Tapping on the karate chop. Even though I don't want to look at my total liabilities number, I love and accept myself. Even though I don't feel ready to look at my total liabilities number, I love and accept myself. And still tapping on the karate chop, even though there are all sorts of reasons that I don't want to look at my total liabilities number, I love and accept myself. And I choose to know that I am taking charge of my finances. And looking at this number will not hurt me. Top of the head, this number on the eyebrow, my total financial liabilities. Side of the eye. I have so many emotions about my debts and liabilities. Under the eye. But for now, I'm just looking at the total number. Under the nose. I don't have to do anything about it yet. On the chin, I'm just getting information. Collarbone, I'm getting my starting point. Under the arms, so that I can begin to move forward. Breathe in, gently, and exhale gently. Notice your resistance now to looking at this total liabilities number. Repeat that tapping if necessary, then come back. Now, take a look at your list of financial liabilities. Notice which items are attached to an asset, like a mortgage or second mortgage or vehicle loan. These are called secured debt. It means that the item can be repossessed if the debt isn't paid. These generally have less emotion attached to them. Not always, but mostly. Now notice which items are not associated with an asset: credit card debt, student loans, personal loans, medical bills, etc. These are called unsecured debt because there isn't a tangible asset that can be repossessed for payment. And these generally generate some of the lowest frequency and most intense emotions like shame, guilt, anxiety, despair. I can only guess at why that is. First, often the interest rates on these debts are unusually high because there is no asset to back it up. Second, because there's no security against them. In a pinch, a person is more likely to put off paying these payments. I mean, what are they going to do? Repossess my kids? That's kind of the thinking that some of us do. And so these missed payments really rack up the balance and the interest. And it feels like a real slog to lower that balance. And the third reason for intense emotions around this kind of debt is that there's often nothing to show for it. Well, at least generally not in the material way. For example, if you buy a new summer wardrobe on your credit card, you might still be paying down the balance 2 or 3 or 4 seasons later. You may have already donated all those clothes to charity, but you're still paying. And now you have guilt and remorse that feels bad, and so perhaps you go out and go shopping again to quell those feelings, thus racking up a little more debt on your credit card, and nothing to show for it, really. Your story may be different, but really investigate your feelings. Now you can see why we want to deal with the feelings, the emotions behind our debt, so we can take more powerful and permanent action. Metaphorically, this is like digging up weeds from the roots instead of lopping them off. The plants we wish to cultivate will grow better and healthier and bear more fruit or flowers. And like our gardening metaphor, in order to maintain our garden and our finances, we'll need to continue to weed and feed, looking and tapping. So circle the total dollar amount of your unsecured debt. If you haven't totaled it up, go ahead and make that a subtotal in your total liabilities column, a subtotal. Total unsecured debt. Say the number out loud like this and be sure to use the word dollars. Say something like, I currently have $10,500, or whatever your dollar amount is, in unsecured debt. Yours may be $500. Yours may be $50,000 in unsecured debt. People are all over the board on this, but it's important. There's no shame as far as I'm concerned. There's no judgment as far as I'm concerned. you're doing that to yourself. So we're going to learn to stop doing that. Just say the number, say it out loud. Get clear on your feelings about this amount that you say out loud. What are your feelings? Shame, anger, despair. Do you feel like checking out, running away? You want to go rack up some more debt by shopping? How intense are your feelings on the scale of 0 to 10? And if you can't identify each individual feeling, just rate the intensity of your overall emotion as you say that number out loud. But if you can, rate each feeling separately. And do this tapping for each emotion, one at a time, until the intensity goes down to a 0, 1, 2, or 3. And as you reduce the intensity of one of your emotions, a new one may seem to pop up. It was always there. It was just hiding behind the more intense emotion. Identify and rate and tap on this new emotion too. It goes something like this, and this is pretty quick and easy. So start on the karate chop. Even though I feel this shame in my gut, when I acknowledge my total unsecured debt number, I love and accept myself. And then we're just going to start tapping around the points after just one even though phrase. Top of the head, I should never have racked up this much debt. Eyebrow, what was I thinking? Side of the eye, I'm so embarrassed. Under the eye, I don't have anything to show for this debt. Under the nose, I feel terrible. On the chin, I should have been more careful. Collarbone, I just want to bury my head in the sand. Under the arm, I don't want to feel these feelings. Top of the head, but wait. Eyebrow, isn't that what I've been doing? Side of the eye, I've only been looking at this debt number as if it's a bad thing. Under the eye, but I could look at this differently. Under the nose, these companies had faith in me. On the chin, they trusted me to repay this debt. Collarbone, I used this debt to buy something I thought I wanted or needed. Under the arm, and I'm good for it. Top of the head, I'm choosing to repay my debt. Eyebrow, make a plan. Side of the eye, one debt at a time. Under the nose, and to use tapping on my feelings. Under the nose, so I don't have to use shopping. On the chin, to quiet my emotions. Collarbone, I can pull the weeds of old emotions. Under the arm, and cultivate a garden of abundance. Top of the head, I'm sensing into what it feels like to be debt-free. Eyebrow, or at least debt reduced. Side of the eye, I'm taking charge of my debt. Under the eye, I can ask for help from a professional if I need it. Under the nose, I don't have to do this alone. On the chin, I deserve to honor my debts. Collarbone, I deserve to value myself. Okay, just breathe in and out and reassess the intensity of your the first emotion that you were tapping on. And you can do your whole list, or you can do them generally as a group. Before further tapping, just recheck the intensity of the other emotions you wrote down, because often they'll change too. We think we have to go through and emotion by emotion address and attack each one, but that's not usually the case. Oftentimes, as we tap on one emotion, the intensity on that one goes down, as does the intensity of the other emotions around it. Now, your feelings and emotions around your unsecured debt may be very different than what we've been tapping on, and that's totally okay. Don't just write this off. You know how to tap. Like if we were tapping and you're thinking, well, that's not my story, then put your story down and tap on that. Especially if you have things like medical bills, student loans, those kinds of things bring up a ton of emotion. But say what's true and tap on it so that you can get clarity. You can get inspiration. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. So use this tapping over and over as needed until you feel empowered to begin to pay off your unsecured debt. I am not a financial expert or advisor, and you can check with someone who is, but I say pay off your highest interest debt first. If possible, renegotiate for a lower rate. Okay, there are ways to do that. Okay, in the next episode in this series, we'll look at and tap on emotional shopping addiction, or retail therapy, and other socially acceptable forms of financial self-sabotage. Those are really powerful in our society. But for now, let's take a few minutes to compare our financial net worth with our own self-worth. Say these phrases out loud and notice what comes up for you. I deserve to be worth so much more. I value myself enough to begin to take care of myself and my finances. I bet there's at least one way I could generate some more income for myself. Notice if you resist any of these phrases. Just sense into the resistance. There's usually a clue and a healing opportunity in resistance. If your resistance is extreme, like there's no way I can generate more income, I'm too old, then tap on the top of your head and say, what if this isn't true? Then on your eyebrow, what if there really are ways to generate more income? Side of the eye, what if I just haven't thought of them yet? Under the eye, I'm pretty resistant to this idea. Under the nose, what could I learn from this? On the chin, what am I afraid of? Tap around and question yourself. Ask questions like that. Then face whatever fear comes up for you. You can begin to create your own tapping for really any emotion that comes up. Just tap and tell your truth to yourself. Tapping is a great tool to use by yourself, and I always say it does work better when we do it with someone else. It almost always does. But don't be afraid to do it by yourself. And if you do it with someone else, do it with someone you totally trust, someone who won't try to influence your emotions. Okay, so lower the intensity of your emotions and pay attention to the new ideas and inspirations that arise from that place. When we're filled with fear and anxiety, we're not going to be very creative. Okay, I'm getting so much feedback on this topic that I've decided to present an online free webinar called Helping You Get Your Financial Shit Together for Personal and Small Business Finances on August 15th, 2018 at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. It's limited to the first 100 people who register, and there will be time for tapping Q&A too. Okay, so the links to register and convert the time to your time zone are in the description portion of this podcast and on my website under events. You can go there and register. If you'd like to learn more about helping you get your financial shit together, please be sure to subscribe to my podcast feed. There are 5 episodes in this series. And all the episodes will be posted on my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search Helen McConnell Helping, and you'll find the YouTube version of this podcast, plus over 100 videos on various tapping topics. All the episode information is on my website, helenmcconnell.com, in the podcast tab, and a transcription is available on my blog, also at helenmcconnell.com blog. I wish you well. I have been through all of what I'm tapping on, and I want the very best for you. I want all of us to feel calm, centered, and to release the shame and guilt we've been carrying around about our finances. Here's to you.
What's bugging you? If you'd like to be a participant on the show, please go to Helen's website, purposeprosperityhappiness.com, and click on the What's Bugging You tab. Then click on I Want to Be a Participant. While you're on the site, you can view all of Helen's free tapping videos or schedule a complimentary transformation conversation. Again, that's purposeprosperityhappiness.com.